Imagine if the very first food you eat in the morning could help your brain remember better, think clearer, and actually repair itself from the inside out while you sleep. For seniors especially, this isn't about magic pills or extreme diets. It's about 3 simple morning foods that science shows can sharpen memory, protect brain cells, and support healing overnight foods. Dr. Alan Mandell often emphasizes because they work with your biology, not against it. As we age, the brain naturally changes. Blood flow slows down, inflammation quietly increases, and the connections between brain cells don't fire as efficiently as they once did. That's why names slip away, focus feels harder, and mental energy fades faster. But here's the hopeful part. The brain is incredibly adaptable, even later in life. It responds quickly to the right nutrients, especially after a night of rest when it's primed to repair and rebuild. Morning is a powerful window. After sleeping, your brain is like dry soil ready for water. What you give it first can either inflame it or nourish it. Dr. Mandell often talks about how the wrong breakfast spikes blood sugar, fuels inflammation, and accelerates cognitive decline. But the right breakfast does the opposite. It stabilizes blood sugar, feeds brain cells, and supports memory formation throughout the day. The first food is something many seniors overlook because it seems too simple, but it's one of the most powerful brain-supporting foods you can eat in the morning. Healthy fats, specifically from whole, natural sources. Your brain is nearly 60% fat. Every thought you have, every memory you store, every signal your neurons send depends on fat-based structures called cell membranes. When those membranes are weak or inflamed, communication slows down. That's when memory feels foggy and thinking feels dull. One of the best morning foods for this is avocado. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats, which help improve blood flow to the brain. Better blood flow means more oxygen and nutrients reaching memory centers like the hippocampus. Studies have shown that diets higher in monounsaturated fats are linked to better cognitive performance and slower mental decline in older adults. Avocados also contain vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that protects brain cells from oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is like rust for the brain. Over time, it damages neurons and speeds up aging. Vitamin E helps neutralize that damage, giving your brain a better chance to heal overnight and stay resilient during the day. Another excellent option is extra virgin olive oil, especially when used in the morning. Dr. Mandell frequently highlights olive oil because it contains compounds called polyphenols. These compounds reduce brain inflammation and help clear away toxic proteins associated with memory loss. Just 1 to 2 tablespoons in the morning, drizzled over vegetables or paired with eggs, can have a measurable impact on brain health. What makes these fats so powerful in the morning is that they don't spike blood sugar. Instead of a quick burst of energy followed by a crash, they provide steady fuel. Stable blood sugar is critical for memory. When glucose spikes and drops, the brain struggles, focus fades, and mental fatigue sets in quickly. This is why traditional breakfasts like sugary cereals, toast with jam, or pastries are so damaging for seniors. They may taste comforting, but they silently inflame the brain and block healing. Replacing them with healthy fats creates a completely different neurological environment. The second morning food that sharpens memory and supports overnight brain repair is high-quality protein, especially from eggs. Eggs are one of the most complete brain foods nature offers. They're rich in choline, a nutrient many seniors are deficient in. Choline is essential for producing acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter directly involved in memory, learning, and attention. Low acetylcholine levels are strongly linked to ag-related memory problems. When you eat eggs in the morning, you're giving your brain the raw materials it needs to build and maintain strong neural connections. This is especially important after sleep, when the brain has been pruning old connections and forming new ones. Protein provides the amino acids required for this rebuilding process. Egg yolks also contain lutein and zeaxanthin. These antioxidants accumulate in the brain and have been shown to improve processing speed and memory in older adults. They reduce inflammation and protect neurons from damage caused by aging and environmental stress. There's also something important about how protein affects hormones. A protein-rich breakfast reduces cortisol, the stress hormone. Elevated cortisol over time shrinks memory centers in the brain. By lowering it early in the day, you create a calmer neurological state that supports focus and recall. Many seniors worry about cholesterol when it comes to eggs, but modern research shows that dietary cholesterol has little impact on blood cholesterol for most people. In fact, the brain needs cholesterol to function properly. It's a key component of synapses, the communication points between neurons. The third food builds on everything we've talked about so far because it directly feeds the gut-brain connection, and this connection is far more powerful than most people realize. Up to 90% of serotonin, a neurotransmitter involved in mood and cognition, is produced in the gut. Chronic gut inflammation sends inflammatory signals straight to the brain, interfering with memory and mental clarity. That's why Dr. Mandell emphasizes foods that heal the gut as a pathway to healing the brain. One of the best morning foods for this is berries, especially blueberries. Blueberries are often called brain berries for a reason. They're loaded with flavonoids compounds that cross the blood-brain barrier and accumulate in memory-related regions. These flavonoids enhance communication between neurons and stimulate the growth of new brain cells, even in older adults. Research shows that regular blueberry consumption can improve short-term memory, delay cognitive aging, and enhance learning capacity. What makes them especially powerful in the morning is that they pair perfectly with fats and protein, preventing blood sugar spikes while delivering potent antioxidants. Blueberries also support gut health by feeding beneficial bacteria. A healthier gut reduces systemic inflammation, which means fewer inflammatory signals reaching the brain. Over time, this creates an environment where memory can actually improve rather than decline. When you combine healthy fats, high-quality protein, and antioxidant-rich berries in the morning, you're doing something remarkable. You're signaling to your brain that it's safe, nourished, and supported. This allows it to shift from survival mode into repair mode. And this is where the idea of healing the brain overnight really comes to life. Sleep initiates the repair process, but morning nutrition determines whether that repair continues or gets shut down by inflammation and blood sugar chaos. There's one more critical piece Dr. Mandell often stresses that ties these foods together, and it has to do with how and when you eat them. There's one more critical piece Dr. Mandell often stresses that ties these foods together, and it has to do with how and when you eat them. It's not just what you eat in the morning, it's the order, the timing, and the state of your nervous system when you eat. When seniors wake up, the brain is transitioning out of a deep repair phase. During sleep, the brain clears waste products, strengthens important neural pathways, and weakens the ones you don't use. But this delicate process can be interrupted if the morning starts with stress, rushing, or sugar. That's why a calm, slow breakfast with the right foods is so powerful. Eating healthy fats and protein first thing in the morning helps turn off the body's emergency response. Instead of spiking insulin and cortisol, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode. In this state, blood flow to the brain improves. Digestion works better, and nutrients are actually absorbed and used for repair. Dr. Mandell often recommends starting the day with water before food. Even mild dehydration reduces attention, memory, and processing speed, especially in older adults. Overnight, the body loses water through breathing and perspiration. Drinking a glass or two of water upon waking helps restore circulation and primes the brain to receive nutrients. After hydration, a simple combination works beautifully. For example, eggs cooked gently in olive oil, half an avocado, and a small handful of blueberries. This kind of breakfast sends a clear signal to your brain. There's no threat, there's no famine, and there's no need to stay inflamed or stressed. What's fascinating is how quickly the brain responds. Within hours, neurotransmitter balance improves. Mental energy becomes steadier. Instead of the mid-morning fog or sudden fatigue, there's a calm alertness. Over weeks, this consistency supports long-term memory formation and slows cognitive decline. Another reason these morning foods are so effective is that they support mitochondria, the tiny energy factories inside brain cells. As we age, mitochondrial function declines. When mitochondria struggle, brain cells can't generate enough energy to fire properly. This shows up as slower thinking, confusion, and forgetfulness. Healthy fats fuel mitochondria efficiently. Protein provides the building blocks for mitochondrial enzymes. And antioxidants from berries protect mitochondria from damage. This combination dosing just improve how the brain feels today. It supports the energy systems that keep the brain alive and functional over the long term. There's also a powerful anti-inflammatory effect happening behind the scenes. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the biggest drivers of memory loss and neurodegeneration in seniors. It silently damages neurons and disrupts communication between brain regions. Olive oil polyphenols reduce inflammatory markers in the brain. Omega fats help stabilize cell membranes. Flavonoids from berries calm microglia, the brain's immune cells, preventing them from attacking healthy neurons. This is real, measurable biology, not just theory. Many seniors believe memory loss is inevitable. But what Dr. Mandell emphasizes again and again is that while aging is natural, accelerated cognitive decline is not. The brain retains its ability to adapt and heal when it's given the right environment. One of the most overlooked benefits of these morning foods is their effect on sleep the following night. Blood sugar stability during the day leads to better sleep architecture. Better sleep means deeper brain cleaning and repair. That creates a positive cycle where the brain gets sharper, not weaker, over time. On the other hand, starting the day with sugar and refined carbohydrates creates a destructive loop. Blood sugar spikes lead to crashes. Crashes increase stress hormones impair memory and disrupt sleep. Poor sleep then worsens memory the next day. This cycle is common, but it's also completely avoidable. Dr. Mandell often reminds seniors that consistency matters more than perfection. You don't need to eat these foods perfectly every day, but making them your default breakfast most mornings can dramatically change how your brain ages. There's also an emotional component. Eating nourishing foods in the morning builds confidence. When seniors feel mentally clearer, they engage more with life. Social interaction increases, curiosity returns, and the brain stays active. Mental stimulation combined with proper nutrition is one of the strongest protective factors against cognitive decline. Now, there's one final insight that brings everything together, a simple habit that enhances the brain healing effects of these foods and helps lock in memory improvements long-term. Now, there's one final insight that brings everything together, a simple habit that enhances the brain healing effects of these foods and helps lock in memory improvements long-term. It's something Dr. Mandell frequently emphasizes because it costs nothing, takes very little time, and dramatically increases how well the brain uses the nutrition you give it. That habit is light movement in the morning, especially after breakfast. When seniors gently move their bodies, even a slow walk, light stretching, or simple mobility exercises, blood flow to the brain increases significantly. More blood flow means more oxygen and more nutrients reaching neurons. This is when the healthy fats, protein, and antioxidants you just consumed actually get delivered to the brain where they're needed. Movement also stimulates a powerful brain chemical called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. BDNF is often referred to as fertilizer for the brain. It helps existing neurons survive and encourages the growth of new connections. Levels of BDNF naturally decline with age, but light daily movement can raise it, especially when paired with proper nutrition. This is where the idea of healing the brain overnight becomes a 24-hour process. Sleep cleans and repairs. Morning nutrition supplies, building materials. Gentle movement tells the brain to use them. Together, they create a rhythm that supports memory, clarity, and emotional balance. Another subtle but important factor is timing. Eating a nourishing breakfast within 1 to 2 hours of waking helps reset the brain's internal clock. This circadian rhythm alignment improves focus during the day and deepens sleep at night. Better sleep means better memory consolidation, which is how short-term memories turn into long-term ones. Dr. Mandell often warns against skipping breakfast for seniors, especially those already noticing memory changes. While intermittent fasting can help some people, older adults need consistent nutrient intake to protect brain tissue and prevent muscle loss. The brain, in particular, becomes vulnerable when deprived of steady fuel. There's also something deeply reassuring for the nervous system about routine. When the brain knows it will be fed, moved, and rested at consistent times, stress levels drop. Lower stress means lower cortisol. Lower cortisol protects the hippocampus, the brain's memory center. Over time, these small morning choices add up. Seniors often report fewer moments of confusion, better word recall, improved mood, and a stronger sense of mental presence. These are not dramatic overnight miracles, but steady, meaningful improvements that restore confidence and independence. What's important to understand is that none of these foods work in isolation. Avocados alone won't fix memory. Eggs alone won't heal the brain. Blueberries alone won't stop aging. But together, eaten consistently, calmly, and paired with light movement, they create the conditions the brain needs to function at its best. This is why Dr. Mandell focuses so much on simplicity. The brain doesn't need complicated supplements or extreme protocols. It needs real food, good blood flow, low inflammation, and regular sleep. When those basics are met, the brain often surprises people with how resilient it still is. Aging doesn't mean decline has to be your story. For many seniors, it can be a time of clarity, wisdom, and strong mental presence if the brain is supported properly. And it all begins with what you choose to put on your plate in the morning. So if there's one message to take away, it's this. Your brain is not broken, and it's not too late. Even in later years, it's listening to the signals you send it every single morning. When you wake up and choose foods that reduce inflammation, stabilize blood sugar, and nourish brain cells, you're telling your brain it's safe to repair, safe to grow, and safe to remember. Healthy fats rebuild cell membranes. Protein restores communication pathways. Antioxidant berries protect and energize the very areas responsible for memory and focus. These aren't exotic superfoods or complicated routines. They're simple, familiar foods used intentionally. And when you pair them with hydration, calm eating, gentle movement, and consistent sleep, you create an environment where the brain can finally do what it's designed to do, heal itself. Dr. Alan Mandell's message is clear and empowering. Cognitive decline is not an unavoidable part of aging. Many of the changes seniors experience are driven by inflammation, poor blood flow, and nutrient deficiencies, all of which can be improved with the right daily habits. You don't need to change everything at once. Start with tomorrow morning. One better breakfast. One short walk. One calm moment to nourish your body instead of rushing it. Over time, those small choices stack up into clearer thinking, stronger memory, and greater confidence in your mind. Because aging well isn't about adding more years to life, it's about adding more life, clarity, and presence to the years you already have.